How's it going again, guys? Voice of Reason here, bringing you another edition of my video game reviews. This week, looks like I'm going to be continuing the trend of downloadable games. This week, this downloadable game is exclusively for the PlayStation 3, and that game is WipEout HD. And just to give you guys a little background of WipEout HD, it is the first entry in the series on the PS3. The game is largely a high-definition remake. That's a key word now. It's a remake of past elements of the WipEout series, including tracks as well as teams from the PlayStation Portable games, from WipEout Pure, as well as WipEout Pulse. Having the game in high definition allows the game to render graphics at 1080p native resolution, might I add, as well as 60 frames per second, and combine all this with 5.1 surround soundtrack. Now I am getting a little bit ahead of myself here, so I better stop, and let's start this review, starting off with the gameplay. Just to get this out of the way, I will admit I am a huge WipEout fan. I've been a fan of the series since the beginning, and I'm pretty sure WipEout fans can relate that WipEout is, I can easily say, one of the premier racing games that Sony has to offer. And going off of the gameplay, we all know that in past WipEouts, the controls as well as the weapons that you can use within the racing are just phenomenal and just add to the craziness of the racing game altogether. For those of you who do not know what WipEout is, just a brief overview of the gameplay is the player pilots an anti-gravity craft, and they can select from one of several teams, and depending on the game mode, can compete using speed and weaponry in an attempt to beat the competition, just like your regular racing game. There are 5 main race types in WipEout HD. There's your single player, your tournament, your time trial, as well as speed lap. Now I have saved the best for last, and that is zone mode. Now veterans of the WipEout series know that zone mode was first introduced in WipEout Fusion and gladly returns in WipEout HD. And pretty much the premises of zone mode is that the player's initially slow craft becomes progressively faster throughout the race. So you start off slow, and as you go through each and every trial or zone, your airship or your anti-gravity craft becomes to go faster and faster. Now what's so awesome about this mode is the visuals and the artistic design that they do in terms of going about doing the races and the laps. WipEout HD uses a graphic equalizers on the track, and scenery displays the waveform of the current playing audio track. Now you guys see here that I have Lady Gaga songs going on, and you can see how the track manipulates the music to incorporate in the track. I know it's really hard to explain, but it's just awesome, and it's just one of the best features that WipEout HD has to offer. And I think everyone who buys this has to do Zone as one of their first races, because it's just awesome, especially with their favorite music going on in the background. So in short, in terms of the gameplay for WipEout HD, it does deliver. I do believe that it's probably one of the best gameplay racing games we saw last year, which was 2008. And I think because of the gameplay, anyone can pick up a controller and just start playing and get into it right away. And that's one of the key features of WipEout, and what has been the key feature for the WipEout series for so long. It's so user-friendly. So with all that being said, let's move on to my favorite section for this game, and that is the graphics. Now I have already said pretty much about the graphics earlier, but I'll say it again. This game is native resolution is 1080p, which is for right now full HD, and it runs at 60 frames per second. And with that being said, I am very much confident to say that this is the best WipEout racing game to come out on the Sony PlayStation. The colors are very deep, as well as it's really hard to explain. I mean, this review, you're watching some videos of it right now, but it does not do it justice. The anti-gravity craft models are just exquisite. You can tell that each model or each aircraft was designed one at a time. Each has its own unique shape, unique style, and unique colors, as well as other colors you can choose from. But you can just tell that the amount of detail of these crafts, I mean, if you really look, I mean, don't go way up in your your TV, but you can really see the detail that these developers put into this game to make it so beautiful, and especially at 1080p. Oh, it's just amazing, guys. Now, just like I said in my Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, whatever I forgot the title already, but just like I said in that review, I mean, if you guys still have a standard definition, that's fine, don't worry about it, it'll still look great. You're just missing the HD part, which is, I think, is really cool. I think HD makes everything really nice and really crisp, and I think HD is what game developers have been wanting and have been wanting for gamers to see how their games should be seen as, and I think WipEout HD does a lovely job with it and is just awesome, especially at 60 frames per second. My fellow gamers and friends, this is gamer heaven. Now, from what I've told you guys are probably thinking, man, this game is amazing, and it is, but it does have its fair share of problems. One of the major problems that I see other gamers having is the lack of tracks that there are. There are only a few tracks, but as you guys should know from previous WipEout installments, they use the track, one going the right way and then it reverses a track, and I think this will throw off newcomers to the WipEout series, and they'll be saying, like, didn't I just race this track a couple of tracks ago? What the hell's going on? But I think that's one of the major complaints about WipEout, is the few number of tracks. But it's not that big of a deal, but if people are looking for like 50 tracks, you know, endless tracks, WipEout will somewhat disappoint you. But in terms of problems, I think that's the only major problem that WipEout HD has going for himself. But still, I mean, the pros outweighs the cons by far, so I think that's one of the key things about this game in terms of, you know, overall satisfaction for gamers. So with all of that being said, I do believe that WipEout HD is probably one of the best racing games that 2008 had to offer. I didn't really touch on this, but it is a downloadable game, and I think it's only worth $15, maybe $20. But that being said, I do also believe that WipEout HD is the best bang for your buck of 2008. I just think it offers way more than $20, and if you guys love racing games and have an HD TV that runs 1080p, I believe that this game is for you. If you guys have not downloaded yet, go now and download it. It's only $20, I believe, and yes, it is the best WipEout game in the franchise. Well, that about does it for my video game review. I hope you guys took something out of it, and I've helped you maybe choose a new game to buy on the PlayStation Network. And yeah, till next time, guys, take care.